Welcome to a conversation with Senator Michael Moore. Senator Moore is our state senator representing the 2nd Worcester District, which encompasses Shrewsbury and a lot of other places around central Massachusetts. My name is Kevin Byrne, and I live in Shrewsbury, and he is my senator. I keep asking him for that summer job as a lifeguard down at Jordan Pond, and he's never come through after all of these years. How are you, Senator Moore?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am absolutely great. It is the middle of September, and we are having a great run of great weather.
Yes.
Except it won't rain.
Did we have a lot of rain in spring and summer?
We had more
Early
rain
summer?
that it was people building arcs were going around, but now everybody's complaining, it's too dry and there's no rain. And I have my youngest daughter, who is a longtime resident of Los Angeles in the film industry, came home this week. She hasn't been home since Christmas. So
Okay.
she said she had some time off and could do some work, at home. And she came home and she said, I've come home for one reason. I want a thunderstorm. Okay? And every day she does the cell phone thing, rain today, rain today, no rain today. But there we are. So, what's new? What have you been doing? Other than still, your face is all over the place. Now your face is in the Telegram and Gazette every time I pick it up in the morning, for Pete's sake. Because of a lot of good stuff that you have done at the legislature.
Yeah.
You have done at the
Thank you.
legislature.
Thanks.
Which has brought you to the fore. But you've done that. Did you do a vacation? Have you had a vacation yet this summer? Wait a minute. You're a state legislator, okay?
Oh.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't use that word vacation. Ray Mariano will say they're always on vacation, for Pete's sake.
Yes,
okay?
I ran into Ray about 2 weeks ago somewhere.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually we've had
Ray,
a lot of-
Ray Mariano does a column in the every Sunday in the Telegram and whatever it's called on Sunday, the Sunday newspaper anyway. And he's always ranting about something.
Yeah.
But then again, I go way back with Ray when Ray was on the city council in there, and he and Jordan Levy, or Levi as I used to call him, would raise hell with my poor friend Jeff Mulford. They just would go up one side of him and down another. There was nothing that he could do that was right. He was the city manager in Worcester for a bunch of years.
Yep.
Until he said that's enough. That's enough of this. This is not fun anymore.
How-
In any event, there we are.
So actually, just
Go,
some
yeah.
of the things that
What are you
we've done
doing?
is, I don't know if we had done it, if we had talked about it the last show, but the PFAS legislation that we got through,
yeah.
banning PFAS from the firefighter turnout gear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did that. So with our law is the strongest in the country. It bans PFAS in the firefighter turnout gear by 2027,
Yeah.
which is a carcinogen. There's another omnibus bill that hopefully that will address in the future that bans it from other types of products.
And also will help some of these folks who have been faced with the inordinate cost that's involved in trying to correct this.
Yeah.
That has not been insured or is not insured. I don't know whether that's changed at all. I can't imagine that it has. But,
Well, that's
but
going to be a cost for all the cities and towns.
You
Yeah.
guys you people were talking about.
So-
I can't say guys anymore.
No,
Okay.
no, legislators.
Okay.
So we did that, and we just had a big, working with an organization called TRACK. It's a local organization of sexual assault advocates abuse advocates, and we were celebrating the passage of the revenge porn bill,
Oh, yeah.
which we had passed several months ago. But there was a section in there dealing with coercive control, changing the language of domestic.
Which is great. We're going to get into a whole bunch of things, okay? But the first thing, other than saying hello, how are you, and using up some of our very precious time talking about my daughter and all of your stuff. The first thing I have to bring up, again, publicly, for the people of Shrewsbury who perhaps haven't heard of this or seen this, our state senator, who was first elected in, I'm going to say 2008, 2007, 8?
No,
Was it
elected
8?
2008, sworn in 2009. Yep.
Okay. I think I still have a lawn sign in my garage. I haven't had to pull it out, for any subsequent elections anyway. He volunteered to jump out of an airplane with a parachute on at 13,000 feet. And he was telling Liz and I prior to the start of the program that he was at one point traveling
139 miles an hour.
139 miles per hour, straight down, okay? And there is an absolutely marvelous, I don't know who did it or how I got a copy of it, but there is a wonderful video of Senator Moore, our state senator, this responsible, concerned person jumping out of an airplane with a big smile on his face. And it followed him pretty much close down to the ground. Done for an extraordinarily wonderful couple of
Yes.
nonprofit
Yeah.
organizations.
So
CASA being one.
CASA, court-appointed special advocates, and then it's called Legendary Legacies, which both of them deal with juvenile
issues
youth.
issues involving kids
Yes.
who are involved in the court system. So,
Yes.
and
Yep.
they both do fantastic work.
Yeah.
Okay. Liz asked just before we started, Senator, would you do it again? And you said yes.
Yes, yeah. So I'm deathly afraid of heights.
Definitely right. He's at 13,000 feet.
When I was-
hanging his feet over an airplane with the door open, and he says he's here. He's with us. I mean, he obviously landed safely.
So when I was younger, I always wanted to do it, but I never had the time. And then as I think we all get older,
Yeah.
You develop fears.
Yeah.
And
It's wisdom.
All right, wisdom.
It's not fierce. It's not fierce.
So I realized how deadly it is to jump from high altitudes or just being in high altitudes. So something I was at an event. The director of CASA was there, and
She's a wonderful lady.
yeah,
What's her name?
Judy Bowditch.
Oh yeah, great.
So they were talking about it, and she mentioned how they were going to do this as a fundraising event, and I was like, oh, I always wanted to do it. And but I was, next thing you know, like they were doing that the next day. It got canceled because of the weather.
It was bad weather.
So someone backed out. So then I got a call and said, hey, you're in. I was like, okay.
What did your wife say about this?
When she first said it, she's like, why? What are you doing?
Why?
Yeah. I was like,
What
well.
an intelligent woman. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed.
So I just said,
For a good cause.
Yeah,
really
just
true.
look, I've always wanted to do
I was
it,
again
so-
telling you prior to the program, 2 of my 3 kids have done it. My daughter, Jennifer, who's now back here from LA for a while, did it up in Florence. Is it Florence or where is it? It's
Oh,
someplace-
in Orange.
Orange. I'm
Orange,
sorry,
yeah.
Orange. Well, there's a Florence up there too. Without telling the parents. And then my son, who was living in California at the time, did it out there. Again, without any insight or input from his well-educated and well-reasoned parents. They just did it and said, oh, by the way, I've jumped out of an airplane. Fascinating experience,
It is, and
which I will never have.
leading up to it, one thing, people that so the first time we were supposed to do it, the same thing happened. It got canceled because of the weather. But leading up to the first one, because there was a lot of advertisements or marketing going on,
Sure.
so I had people come up to me saying, "Oh, you're doing it. You're gonna love it." And I would say how how nervous I was, and everyone said, "Once you do it, you'll be amazed how much fun it is and relax." And but that day got canceled because of the weather. So then the third time was in August when we finally did it. And I'll tell you, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Okay, didn't hurt at all. Huh?
No, it didn't hurt. And
Well, you also
the anxiety
you
was
also
worse.
had, as I'm looking at the video, you also had a guy hanging on your back.
Yes.
Okay, so at least you knew. He probably knew more about parachuting than you did. I
Yeah.
would expect.
Yeah.
Okay, and he would be there. And the other thing, I suppose, at least you could say, if we're going down, at least I'm going down with somebody else hanging on my back.
That never came to my mind. But as I was telling you earlier, if I had to, the way they used to do it, I guess many, many years ago, they had this static line. So they had a line attached to the parachute and you had to jump out by yourself. And then the line pulled the chute. That I would not have been able to do. The fact I had the security of someone attached to me.
You get it. You get
Yeah.
it. You get
But
it. Okay. That's enough of all the craziness that Senator Moore has been done, other than the great stuff he does. And that was a good thing for him to do for the charities that were involved with it. Alec, the wonderful communication director, president, whatever he is down there, sent me stuff, as he always does, prior to the meeting, saying, okay, Kev, this is what you may want to talk about,
Yep.
okay? And it came a couple days back, and usually what I do is I said, "Oh, there's Alec's stuff," so I open it and it's there, and I just press the print button and I print it, and it usually runs the ink out of the printer, and all of a sudden it's going and it stops, and I look. There were 8 pages, and I'm looking. I said, "There's got to be more of this anyway." So I wrote to him. I said, "Thank you. What's going on? You're down to 8 pages, most of which we don't. We always kid. We never
never get there.
through the 13 or 14 pages. Anyway, the first thing I want to talk about is again a local judicial issue, and that is you and Senator Goby, when she was a senator, and another senator,
Barbara Italian.
Italian.
Yep.
Where's he from?
She was from I think the Andover area.
Oh, the Andover area. Okay. Did a full court press to get an additional juvenile court judge in Worcester,
Yes.
which has been shorthanded, quite frankly, for a substantial number of years. In my practice, the only thing I did at the juvenile court is walk by the door. I did not get involved. I just didn't do that type of practice anyway. And I know from talking to lawyers who do, and even talking to the judges, that they're shorthanded.
Yeah.
Okay, and
And one thing,
a nice lady named Julie Lowry was appointed.
well, we should, before we get to the appointment part.
Yeah.
So when the representatives from CASA and some of the juvenile court employees came about the backload of cases, Worcester actually has, and it's sad to say, one of the highest case loads in the state.
In the state, right.
So we got
Has
this
for a number of years.
Yeah, so we actually got this passed in 2018.
18.
And Judge Laurie, that you're just going to start talking about, never got appointed until 2 years ago.
I know.
So the previous administration took 4 years to make the appointment. So we finally get the judge appointed,
Right.
and
Go ahead.
now we just find out that she's been there for 2 years. They've transferred her to another court.
To Plymouth.
And so we've got Worcester back again, short a judge,
Right.
with, again, the highest caseloads in the state.
Right.
So I just don't understand the judiciary. I just can't understand their logic behind why they transferred.
The logic of the chief judge in the juvenile court system is to say, we're short of judges. Well,
But
no
but
kidding.
but you don't take it from one of the
I
busiest
know,
courts.
exactly.
So we've so actually myself and governor's counselor Paul DiPaolo.
Paul DiPaolo.
So we finalized the letter that's going off to the trial court either tomorrow or the next day,
Yeah.
asking several questions, asking for this to be remedied and for her to be put back.
Yeah.
But to me, it's unconscionable
Yeah.
that we've got this caseload.
Yeah.
That the trial court is not the juvenile court's not going to be not going to be able to meet federal guidelines on when cases need to be handled by.
Yes.
And you get the trial court that's taken the resources that have been mandated for this court and taken and put them in other places.
Right. It's phenomenal. 2018 till 2 years ago. This is Charlie Baker, and now I guess it's Murray Healy.
Yeah.
Not making these
Well, but
appointments.
the only difference here is, and I'm not taking them from the heel, I'm not
Sure.
protecting them, is the Baker administration, it took them 3 to 4 years to make the appointment.
Right.
But at least before they left, the appointment was made.
Right.
The Healy administration right now, this is all on the trial court. Because as you know, we have the separation of powers.
Absolutely.
So the administration, once that judge got appointed,
Yep.
it's now on the trial court. It's not the Healy administration as well. It wouldn't.
Right.
The Healy administration's job is to now appoint the judges to. So we got to hope that they're going to fill whatever vacancies they have.
Right.
Because I don't know how you just your kids going through DCF, foster care. I mean,
It's a tough process.
Yeah.
And it's an involved, complicated process now. Okay. More so than it was back in the years that I was practicing, in which it was basically a semi-criminal court,
Yeah.
and now it's just advanced so phenomenally. Okay. Second thing I want to talk about is nursing homes.
yes.
A lot of stuff that you've done with reference to that. An act to improve quality and oversight of long-term care. This involves all sorts of seniors, okay?
Yep.
And focuses again, to a great extent from what I'm gathering from what Alex is telling me, on making sure that nursing homes are doing a good job.
Yep.
Tell me about this, Bill.
Well, it mandates additional staffing, also rights for the patients or the residents, I should say.
Sure.
It provides for more protection against discrimination for adults or for LGBT plus communities,
Yeah.
or those living with HIV, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression. Then we also have issues dealing with the long-term care for the workforce, recruitment initiatives, looking at ways to retain
this
employees.
is something, because I do know that they're all shorthanded.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know of any nursing home that won't tell you that
Yeah.
they're shorthanded.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of restaurants who are telling me, we're still shorthanded of hiring waiters and waitresses.
Well, and
Okay.
part of because
But
of the
I love
shorthand.
the concept about a long-term care workforce and capital fund to support initiatives to hire and retain dedicated long-term
Yep.
workers.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other part about it, we were talking about how the juvenile court has changed since my days. You never heard the word LGBTQ at
Plus,
all.
right.
Well, first of all, we never even had that concept.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. And now we're in a situation in which, there is conceivably, discrimination that's going on with reference to the care and treatment of people who have these proclivities.
Yeah.
Proclivities isn't the right word. I do not know what the right word is, okay? And also HIV.
Yep. So we also, in this too, we also, if you see,
Focus on it.
you see the estate recovery, it now limits mass health estate recovery to what the federal guidelines are. And also getting to what you're talking about, medication for AIDS, it directs the government agency to create a program for certification, training, and oversight
Yeah.
of
Training,
certified medical
training,
aids.
training,
Right, so we got to, and then there's the compliance aspect of it.
Okay. And then the inspection process requires DPH, Department of Public Health, to inspect long-term care facilities annually, assess the quality, service, and compliance of them. And then something that's in here, something, a term I've never heard of, small house nursing homes. What's small house nursing homes? Just smaller
Just a
nursing homes.
smaller nursing home, yeah.
There is a word of art that these
Yeah.
are small house nursing home cares, and to make sure that they're licensed.
Yes, yep.
Okay. Um, Parenting,
Yes.
that's fascinating.
So this is,
Talking to my fellow older citizens of Shrewsbury, we're talking about things that never even crossed our mind back in our younger days. And that is, explain that to us. This is fascinating. You really focused on this.
so this is, you know, when the big debate went on about, same-sex marriages
Yeah,
and
sure.
what was it, civil unions. When the law got passed, everything had changed where same-sex marriages were legalized by the courts, or blessed by the
Absolutely.
courts.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but for the biggest extent, I thought a lot of this would have been covered, granting the same rights to parents. But apparently,
The laws were so archaic because it never crossed anybody's mind.
but I would have
This was
thought
gonna
that
be an
that,
issue.
that would have blessed all the benefits and rights onto these same-sex parents. Well, apparently it didn't.
Right.
So we had to change the definition.
Spell it out.
Yeah, we had to change the definition to include same-sex.
So what that basically means is that, I love the term.
And the definition of families. Yeah.
Families and families created via assisted reproduction, okay?
Yep.
Two married people, say female, decide one of them's going to have a child, okay?
Right.
And it is an assisted reproduction, really and truly. And then all the rights that go with that.
Yeah, so if you, like, it talks about the medical appointments, managing child's finances,
Yeah.
participating in educational decisions. I think, and again, some of those, that's basic rights of parents.
Yeah.
So when
Exactly.
when it was same-sex marriages were legalized,
Yeah.
you would have thought that this would have just naturally have coincided with it. But
Yeah.
again, as you're saying, the archaic laws, we had to go back and we had to address it and change
Absolutely.
it.
And I had to clean that all up. Managing decisions, parenting, mom, dad, whatever the terms that are used today, medical appointments, managing finances, educational decisions, child's travel. Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Things that we never even thought about before. The bill passed.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, both houses, and then.
Yes. It's
Mara-
been signed by the
Mara
governor. Yeah.
signed it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Another thing that was included in things we should talk about is, again, something I never thought about terribly much. Maybe I'm just not thinking as much as I used to. But no, these were in the days in which these issues did not come up. An act prohibiting access to midwifery care and out-of-hospital birth options. You always knew that, yeah, I can remember when I was a kid, somebody said, the lady down the street wants to have her child wants to have her baby in the bathtub or stuff
Right.
like that. But you never thought of midwifery,
Right.
except with old movies, and they always say, if you can't get the doctor to come, have the midwife there.
Yeah.
And there's an act that relates to that.
Yeah. So we just created a pathway for people to get licensed, makes it first, or I should say, trained and
The
certified.
important part is the training and the, and the
And actually, and if you think about it
certification.
right now, we had UMass close their facility in the northern Worcester County.
Yeah.
So there's an issue, here's a way, hopefully, that maybe
Sure.
if people start getting trained or certified in midwifery, that it can replace or come to the assistance of some of the people needing help up there.
And we all know the issues that hospitals are having
Yes.
all over the
Yep.
place, the whole craziness, primarily in the Boston area with the closing of hospitals.
Well, actually, it's not just the Boston,
Crazy
it's not just the Boston area. You have,
No, yeah.
Stewart has the facility in Bolton up that way.
Yeah,
I can't believe, is it Kearney? Kearney.
well, Connie's in Dorchester.
Uh,
I'm
well,
sorry, Dorchester.
Dorchester.
Used to be in South Boston.
So the one in the Bolton up in that
Yeah,
area,
up in that-
it's
They
yeah,
actually closed it.
they closed it.
Yeah.
So the whole service area
Yeah.
that now it has to either come to Worcester for UMass or
Sure.
I don't even know what other hospital facilities
You know, where
available.
else you go, right.
So
It's issues that we haven't quite thought about terribly much. But we and our senator, despite the fact he jumps out of airplanes, has been thinking about it, okay? What else? I had something on my list. Revenge porn,
yes,
finally passed.
yep.
Okay. The one including the new language about
Coercive control and
Coercive
there's some
control.
abusive litigation language in there too.
a real serious problem. I mean, it started as a serious problem amongst teenagers.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, somebody gets a picture of somebody, and all of a sudden it's on social media all over the place, and the poor kid's life is done.
Yeah.
And we are done. Look at that. That thing says 2-1. Hey, folks, come back. We're on a regular basis, and we look forward to having you watch us and hear us. Have a good day.